Okay, today we're going to draw support and resistance on the 5 minute chart, and I'm going to be using SPY. So we're going to learn how to draw our support and resistance. What does that even mean? Okay, so before I even draw anything, I want to explain what this green and red candles we're seeing on this chart means. Okay, so first and foremost, what does a candle represent? Each candle that you see here, so either this green or this red, they all represent 5 minutes of price movement. So this green candle, I can see from the start to the end, 690 to 690.40 cents. 5 minutes, it moved 40 cents. The red candle, I can see 690.31 and close 690.30 cents. Every candle represents 30 cents. A candle tells me four things that I have understood. It tells me where price opened. It tells me where price closed. It tells me how high price went and how low price went. So for example, it told me here price closed at 690.23, and that was the close at the end of market on I think that was the 26th. And how low it went based on this green candle is 690 and 2 cents, and here it's went as high as 690.40 cents, that candle. Okay, so in 5 minutes that was how high it went. So in 5 minutes it went 40 cents. Perfect. So now let's see, what does this green candle mean? This green candle just means buyers. First of all, they're buyers, like people that buy. Okay, and it tells me that buyers had more control during this 5 minutes. This red candle means sellers, people that sell. And it tells me in this 5 minutes with this big body candle that sellers were in more control during that 5 minutes. The bigger the body of the candle, it tells you the more control which color it is. For this red one, we see that the candle is so big, sellers were in very strong control over this 5 minutes. Okay, same thing as this buyers were more in control in this 5 minutes. All right, so if you see here, we find that the candle has a body and it also has a wick. So, like the little lines poking out from the top or the bottom part. And these wicks are also telling us stories, right? We have the body, which is the middle juicy part, and we have the wick, which are the tiny ropes. If you've seen a real candle, it has a wick only at the top, but here it has at the bottom and at the top. Okay, so why does it matter? Well, the wick matters to me because it tells me where rejection shows up, right? So for here, it tells me that the price went as high as 690.40. Sellers pushed it down. I think it went as low as 690.02. And guess what? Buyers came, came back up here. I think it went as high as this. Sellers came and pushed it again down here to 690.23. For this red candle that we see here, it had started, came down, pushed all the way down, boom, buyers try to push up, and well, we can see where it closed at. Okay, so here I see that the way it closed at 690.23, and this wick down is really long. It's telling me that the sellers are really pushing. They are pushing very hard. So would I want to enter a call tomorrow morning? I probably want to see where this is going. So you can see how it's telling you a story, right? That sellers were really so aggressive here. Let's look at this candle. See this very juicy long one. It first started here. Okay, it first started here. You can see when it had come down here, but sellers were like, no, it came down to, if we look at the price, 6,989.39, and buyers pushed it up, and it closed at 689.60. And sellers, you can see, because the wick below tells you the rejection from the buyers, right? They said no, and they pushed it all the way, So if I had seen this candle, I would have gone in for a call, because I could see that buyers were stronger, and I don't see any wick at the top. Sellers weren't even they weren't on this table, right? They weren't on this table. Unlike this one, I could see that there was a little bit of pushback, but it was kind of like almost similar pushback. And this candle would have been my signal to get in for a call. I probably could have entered when it closed here. I could have entered maybe 689.60 and probably rolled it all the way. I probably would have come out, somewhere around here at 690, because I had seen that it had rejected here before, right? Anyway, I could have gone in for this scalp real quick here, but you can see this one is so long. There is no wick at all. Like, come on, there was no wick at all. Right? And then it started here and started nice, and well, we can see sellers were not having it, and pushed, and when it closed, by the time it had closed, there was no wick down here. Buyers were not even in this game. And that's why you see the next candle. So if you went for a put, if you had done coming here, could have come in here at 690.13 and probably rode it all the way down to 689. That makes sense. Okay, so just explain, that's just the candle, the body, and the wick explanation. So now let's talk about support and resistance. So support, think about support like your floor. It's a place where buyers and sellers agree to disagree that the price is not going down there. They meet there, and it supports that price is not going lower. And then think about resistance as the roof of your house, where it's like saying, we agree to disagree that we're not going to jump off this roof, right? Something like that. So if we look at this 5-minute candle on the 26th, in saying that, where did they, I do not draw my lines, my support and resistance areas. It's not a line, it's an area on the wick. I like to draw it on the body of the candle, like the close and open. So I'm going to bring my horizontal line. Horizontal line, and I see here that they meet here. Okay, 691.55 there-ish. That's the kind of the zone. And then if I look at the 26, where was the lowest part that they agreed to disagree? So we're looking at just the 26th. So if we look at this, I bring up my horizontal line again. If I look here, I see here, I think that is a line, that is a zone where they kind of agreed to disagree, and you kind of see here was kind of similar, something happening here around. So this zone was, something was going on here. So that's like a major zone for that day, that's in that 5-minute chart. And then if you want to go into like the minor zones, you can now go in and look for other places, multiple places where they kind of agreed to disagree. You call that a minor zone. But that day price had started had gone as high as 691 and come back down to 689. So if you had seen it when when it started at 691, I think that day it started at this place. Let's see. Okay, price had opened at 691, and you see how big the red candles, you could have followed it back down, rolled it back. It was like really, really red, and followed it down to about 689 ish and probably jumped out. Or you could have waited for it to get here to this place where it kept bouncing off 689, and then you probably could have started going back up. Well, so you can see it went as high as this, and this is how you kind of wait, see the price movement and wait to see where you can enter. Okay, I hope that made sense. So support and resistance come from how price behaves. We're not guessing. The support is an area where price has difficulty going lower than, buyers repeatedly step in and defend the line. So every time it comes back here, they're kind of like, hell no, you're not going down, we're coming back up. And when it gets here, sellers are like, hell no, we're not letting you go up, we're coming back down. They're in a tug of war, kind of. Yeah, think about it like that. And your candles, wick, the wick shows rejection, the body show control, and the close tells the story. Okay, so I hope this kind of makes sense. We're going to keep practicing. So when you look at your candles, when you look at the chart, look at the candles first, then draw your levels and let price tell the story. Okay, yeah, and it also helps me to kind of know, I'm not using it to predict or anything, right? It just shows me how price is reacting at those areas. And so when I see them, I know, okay, I need to slow down, I need to observe, manage my risk. If it's coming down here, maybe just chill and see what it does before you get in, or things like that, right? So, okay, I hope this makes sense. We're all learning together.